You know, it's hard to believe it was 17 years ago today that that 9/11 happened. Unbelievable. 2,753 people killed in the World Trade Center, 40 in that field in Pennsylvania, 64 at the Pentagon, and the impacts are still felt today.
Yeah. It's one of those things where people always go back to where they were that day it happened, and remember what they were doing as this was taking place. And of course, as you know, it was the day, it was, if you think about it, it's like when you wake a sleeping giant. And the United States is like, okay, during that period, I've never seen us come together as we did. Because that first thought was that we're under a terrorist attack, and it goes on. But I know we're going to talk about, you know, what took place and where we were and so forth coming up, but right now you want to get into the memorial that's taking place today to remember that tragic day in history.
So yeah, here in the Midlands, there's endless memorials all around the country, and there's several here in South Carolina, including Lexington. But the major memorial, the First Responders Memorial, I know you've been a part of it since the beginning, Claire. I hope you haven't seen it yet, but it's right here downtown at the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center. The community built it, essentially, raised nearly $1 million to build this memorial that's there. And if you haven't seen it, you can see some of the videos being shown from the unveiling. But it's two 25-foot granite towers that were designed. There are two beams that actually were from tower number 1 that are there, that actually were sent here. And there's a very special connection between South Carolina and New York, and that's, some folks say, why is it, you know, this is so important for us here? Back in the 1800s, when Columbia was burning, New York City sent down fire personnel and a fire apparatus to help put the fire out, and that's what the tie to Columbia. And of course, you might remember just after the attacks, the White Knoll High School students raised money to buy the city of New York a brand new fire truck, Ladder 101.
Which was really touching, and of course a great gift from the, from Chapin and the state of South Carolina to New York City firefighters, because as you know, they suffered a great loss and tragedy during this too. So this memorial today, of course, that's going to take place at UMC, and you've emceed from the day one. They remember those who lost their lives, first responders, and those names are read by each of the Honor Guard members who are out there.
Yeah, and that Honor Guard that you've been a part of for many years as well. If you see it, those names, those are Midlands heroes that have been killed serving their country, serving their communities, firemen, policemen, service members since that day. And so these are local heroes that we read and we honor.
What time is it?
5 o'clock. So I would arrive probably about 4:30 or so, but 5 o'clock, the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center. It's a big, and it's an important day.
It is, it is. We'll be back with more as we continue to talk about 9/11 and, of course, Florence, too, which is very important right after this.